48 hours to go for the grand finale of the Under-19 World Cup. Two semi-finals, India versus South Africa, was a thriller. Pakistan versus Australia, on the other hand, was an even better thriller. 1 wicket left, 3 runs to get, 6 balls in hand. It took an inside edge, and Raf McMillan has ensured that India versus Australia final happens for the third time in the Under-19 World Cup. Now, there is tremendous anticipation in the Under-19 World Cup because what Australia, the senior team, are in the main World Cups, India Under-19 are like that in this format of the World Cup. Under-19, India has dominated for the last decade or so. Look at 2012, 2014 was an aberration, 16 final, 18 winner, 20 finalist, 22 winner. Can they make it 6 WC, Under-19 WC titles, or can Australia end a 14-year jinx that is there? Because India versus Australia is a fitting final for the Under-19 World Cup. Two teams who are undefeated, and now on 11th of February, 1 p.m. onwards, by about 9:30, 9:45 p.m. IST, we will know whether India have achieved number 6 or India or Australia have achieved number 4. So, it is an India versus Australia World Cup Under-19 final, 6th title, 4th for Australia if they do win, 6th for India. But now, this bottom stat, last 1 year, in each and every ICC knockout event that is there, India and Australia have faced. The India women's team, India versus Australia, the T20 World Cup in South Africa, Australia won by 5 runs. WTC final, India versus Australia, Australia won by 210 runs. World Cup 2023 final in Ahmedabad, Australia won by 6 wickets. And now, 4th time, Under-19 World Cup final, India versus Australia. But India head into the match as slight favourites because of the depth that they have shown, because of the likes of Sachin Das, Uday Saharan, Raj Limbani, all of the others. Then you've got Soumi Pandey, then you've also got Aravali Avinash also chipping in. All these guys ensure that India can at least go the distance. Earlier, it was Mushir Khan who was stealing the show, and also Arshin Kulkarni, and that's why India have depth in both the batting and the bowling in that sense. This stat, combined with their previous record that has been there, is a clear indication as to why India are one of the favourites, because in 8 matches in the Under-19 World Cup, India has won 6, Australia have won only 2. And if you look at their overall Under-19 picture, it is 9-8 in favour of Australia. 7 matches Australia won, be it a bilateral series or anything, 2 matches India have won. But in the Under-19 World Cup, it is India's youngsters who managed to raise their A game. 6-2. And India have been unbeaten in the 2 finals versus Australia. You look at 2018, you look at 2012, 2 finals. India have never lost to them. And Australia has not won the World Cup since 2010. That was the period when you had a certain Josh Hazlewood and a Mitchell Marsh. Mitchell Marsh, in fact, was captaining the side, and he won the Under-19 World Cup at that time. Will the other Australian players step up? Because they have the batting, they have the bowling. You saw Harry Dixon, you saw Oliver Peake do very well. And then their captain also on certain occasions has stepped up. The bowling, Raf McMillan, if you look at it, and you also look at Tony Stractor, he has really done well. So, it is an even contest, but India are the slight favourites, 52-48 in my book. If you look at it, India who start as one of the favourites. 6-2 India, last 5 Under-19 World Cup, if you look at it, win, 5th place in 2014, finalist, win, finalist, 2022, winner, 6. So, you won 4 major events in the last 6 World Cups. Now, apart from this, I am also going to give you a brief introduction as to how have the 8 encounters panned out between India and Australia. And for that, you have to go all the way back to the first edition in 1988. The first 1988 Under-19 World Cup, at that time it was called as the Youth Championships, saw India and Australia clash for the first time in Berry, which is a town close to Adelaide. There, Australia won by 7 wickets. the Indian stars were going to play a big role in the future from that 1988 edition, where Nayan Mongia, Praveen Amre, Venkatapati Raju, Subroto Banerjee, and Stuart Law for Australia. And Nayan Mongia, incidentally, was the top scorer in that India team. Venkatapati Raju and Subroto Banerjee, through their exploits in 88, got a chance to play in the 1992 World Cup, which was also held in Australia. But unfortunately, they lost out in the first encounter in 1988. And then you look at 10 years later, when the second edition was held in 1998, Centurion South Africa was the venue, and Australia won by 6 wickets. But look at the star power that was there in the Indian Under-19 setup at that time. Ritinder Singh Sodhi, Mohammad Kaif, Harbhajan Singh, Virender Sehwag, they were in that Indian team. All the others also were there, but these three guys, barring the first name, all the others had a huge impact in Indian cricket. Ritinder Singh Sodhi was touted as one of the best, but then he had a short run in the Indian cricket team senior and he didn't set the stage on fire, unfortunately. James Hopes and Marcus North, they were the guys from Australia, and that's why they won by 6 wickets. So it was 2-0 in favour of Australia. But from this point onwards, it has always been India, because the third encounter in 2000 at the R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo, India won by a staggering 170 runs. And one individual who would hurt them throughout his playing career, Yuvraj Singh. Yuvraj Singh, Mohammad Kaif, Venugopal Rao and Ajay Ratra were there in the Indian team at that time. And Yuvraj Singh, 5 fours and 5 sixes. Immediately after the Under-19 success, Yuvraj was fast-tracked to the 2000 Champions Trophy, and boy did he hurt Australia again. And for Australia, there was quite a strong team. You had Shane Watson, then you had Andrew McDonald, who's the current head coach, Nathan Horitz, the Osman, and Mitchell Johnson. So, somewhere down the line, when you look at it, 2000 was the making of this current bunch of superstars from both India and Australia who would go on to achieve a lot of laurels. 12 years later, after the hurt of 2000, 12 years later, India and Australia would clash in Townsville in the Under-19 World Cup. Unmukh Chand, his century ensured that India managed to win the Under-19 World Cup title for the third time. In 2008 and in 2000, India had won the title, and because of that, in 2012, it was the third title for them. But Unmukh Chand and Hanuma Vihari, along with Sandeep Sharma, were the three major players from that team. But unfortunately, the batch of 2012 was indeed the cursed one, because apart from Sandeep Sharma, who had a decentish run in the IPL and also a little bit of success in the Indian team, Hanuma Vihari had only success in Test cricket. Unmukh Chand, who wrote a book, and after that, who managed to ensure that his century and also got an IPL team, did not even make it to the Indian team. And now, 12 years later, he's going to play for the USA against India. That is fate. For Australia, you had Ashton Turner, Gurinder Sandhu, then Joel Paris, and the one name who would hurt India in 2023, Travis Head. Travis Head was part of that 2012 Under-19 setup, and 11 years later, he would hurt India in the WTC final and in the World Cup final as well. Another name who got a century on debut, but I couldn't mention it, Curtis Patterson. Curtis Patterson also was there in that Under-19 setup at that time. 6 years later, you would have two encounters, India versus Australia in 2018, both at the Bay Oval in Mount Maunganui. And the first encounter in the league stage, India won by 100 runs with Prithvi Shaw managing a brilliant 94. Shubman Gill also chipped in. And the only bowler who made some kind of an impact for Australia from that team, apart from Lloyd Pope has not yet made it to the Australian team, was Xavier Bartlett. Xavier Bartlett, if you all remember, picked up the second best haul on debut by an Australian in ODIs against the West Indies at the MCG. And then later on, you would have Prithvi Shaw and hold the trophy because they defeated Australia by 8 wickets in the final. Manjot Kalra scoring a century, and India had won the Under-19 World Cup for the 4th time. 2012, they had won 14 and 16. 16, they came very close. They lost to the West Indies. 14, they had not gotten to the knockouts that much. They finished in 5th place. But you got Prithvi Shaw and Shubman Gill in the Indian cricket team, and for Australia, it was Bartlett. Pope wasn't there, and all the others, if you look at it, he might soon make a return to the Australian team at this point. The last encounter prior to this final was in 2020 at Potchefstroom, where India won by 74 runs. It was Yashasvi Jaiswal's magnificent 62 and Kartik Tyagi's 4 wickets that ensured that Australia once again could not win against India. So, Australia has not won against India for 26 years in the ICC event in the Under-19 World Cup. And it's because of the constant stream of Indian talent that ensures Australia just do not make it. For Australia, in the 2020 World Cup, now they are kind of making an impact. Jake Fraser-McGurk. Fraser-McGurk, I'm telling you, with the shots that he plays, with the aggression, he is going to be one of the future stars for Australia. Then you've got Tanveer Sangha and you've got Todd Murphy. Todd Murphy made a sensational debut in India by picking up 7 wickets. So, this squad, Yashasvi Jaiswal and Kartik Tyagi, if you all remember, all fell short, unfortunately, in the final against Bangladesh, where Akbar Ali's team managed to beat them. 2022, India didn't play, but then let's hope that Yash Dul's team, some of them can get a big run in that. And that's why we are all set for a grand final at Benoni. It's 2-2. If you look at it, it's 1-1. Centurion, Australia had won, but in Potchefstroom, India managed to win, and that's why it's going to be a deciding match. Can Australia end not just 14 years of a jinx, but 26 years of heartache against India? That we will see. We will continue to do more build-up of the Under-19 World Cup final, because 11th February is a big day indeed. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live, and don't forget we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Bye-bye.